You paid for a cup of coffee this morning. Maybe at a cafe on your way in. Maybe from a machine at the office. Maybe you made it at home because going out got too expensive. Whatever you paid, it was more than it used to be. And the reason why is one of the most fascinating economic stories happening right now. I'm going to show you the full picture, from farm to futures, from drought to your dollar. This is the cost report. In the US, people drink an average of 3.1 cups of coffee every single day. In Europe, coffee is woven into daily life just as deeply. Globally, it is the most traded agricultural commodity on Earth. And right now, the system that delivers that coffee to your cup is under serious stress. In February 2025, Arabica coffee hit $4.41 per pound on futures markets, the highest price ever recorded. Ground coffee at U.S. grocery stores hit $9.46 per pound by early 2026, also a record. In the UK, a standard bag of ground coffee is up nearly 40% from 2 years ago. And this is not just inflation. This is a supply chain story, a weather story, a Wall Street story. And in 2025, a new factor arrived: U.S. import tariffs. More on that shortly. But it all starts on a hillside, thousands of miles from your kitchen. Coffee belt. Coffee can only grow in one narrow band around the equator, called the coffee belt. It runs between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Within that band, the plant is extraordinarily sensitive. Wrong temperature, wrong rainfall, wrong altitude, the harvest is gone. And the world's entire supply is concentrated in just a few countries. 3 countries, over 60% of global supply. If anything goes seriously wrong in any one of them, the entire world feels it at the checkout. The smallholder reality. Here's what most people don't know about their morning coffee. Roughly 80% of the world's coffee is not grown on massive industrial farms. It's grown by smallholder families, 25 million of them worldwide, most operating on less than 5 hectares, about the size of a football field, hand-picking, hand-sorting, working land that has been in their family for generations. The supply chain. After the farmer picks those beans, they travel through a long chain: local trader, exporter, international broker, roaster, retailer, then you. Every step adds cost. Every middleman takes a margin. By the time that bean reaches your cup, the farmer received less than 10% of what you paid. Nearly half of all coffee farmers globally live on less than $3.20 per day. The average coffee drinker in the US or Europe spends more than that on a single cup. Remember that number, because it matters to everything that comes next. The price machine. How coffee is actually priced. Most people assume coffee prices are set by supply and demand. Farms grow it, roasters buy it, the price adjusts. Simple. The reality is far stranger and far more consequential. The global price of coffee is set by something called the C market, a commodities futures exchange based in New York, run by the Intercontinental Exchange, known as ICE. Every day, traders buy and sell contracts for the future delivery of Arabica coffee. The price they agree on today becomes the global benchmark, the number every roaster, retailer, and cafe owner on Earth uses as their reference. The speculation problem. Here's where it gets interesting. A significant portion of the people trading coffee on the C market have absolutely no intention of ever touching a coffee bean. They're hedge funds, financial institutions, trading coffee the same way they'd trade gold or oil, purely as a financial asset. Half the market is financial speculation. And here's the consequence of that. Coffee prices are not just set by how much coffee exists, they're set by what traders expect to happen. A rumor about a coming frost in Brazil can spike prices before a single plant is affected. The market trades on fear, on algorithms, on expectations. As one veteran trader described it, it is a casino. And the farmer on that hillside who has no Bloomberg terminal, no futures account, their entire income depends on what comes out of that casino. The perfect storm. So, we understand the system. Now let's talk about why it broke. The coffee price spike of 2024 and 2025 wasn't caused by one thing. It was caused by 5 things, hitting at once, each one making the others worse. Cause 1. Brazil, the weather crisis. Brazil produces more coffee than any other country on Earth. In 2021, it got hit by a devastating 1-2 punch. First, the worst drought in decades, then immediately after, a severe frost. Coffee plants are extremely sensitive to frost. Large growing regions were damaged, some were destroyed entirely. And recovery takes years. You can't replant and get a new crop next season. Then in 2024, it happened again. Drought, followed by sudden flooding. Brazil's coffee production dropped 20% in a single year. Cause 2. Vietnam, drought. Vietnam produces the world's Robusta beans, used in espresso blends and instant coffee. In 2023 and 2024, Vietnam experienced severe drought. Exports fell for the second year in a row. Production dropped 20%. Add Indonesia, add parts of Central America, all underperforming simultaneously. 3 of the world's biggest producers, all struggling at the same time. Cause 3. China, demand explosion. While supply was falling, demand was rising. The story most people miss is China. Coffee was historically a minor beverage in China. That has changed dramatically. In 2023, China had 132,000 coffee shops, more than 3 times the number in the US. By the end of 2024, that figure had reached an estimated 161,000 locations. To put that in perspective, the US has around 38,000. Coffee demand in China is projected to keep rising. When supply falls and a country of 1.4 billion people discovers espresso, the price has only one direction to go. Cause 4. Shipping costs. The physical cost of moving coffee around the world also surged. Shipping a standard 40-foot container from Asia to the US East Coast hit $10,000 in mid-2024, double the cost from just months earlier. Port disruptions, higher fuel costs, ships rerouting around the Red Sea conflict zone. Every bag of coffee cost more to move before it even reached a roaster. That cost doesn't disappear. It lands on your receipt. Cause 5. Speculation amplified everything. And then, remember those hedge funds? When all of this bad news hit, traders began betting heavily that prices would rise further. That speculation became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Algorithmic systems responded to the uncertainty and piled in automatically. The result, Arabica hit $4.41 per pound in February 2025, the highest price ever recorded. Robusta hit its highest price in nearly 5 decades. The tariff factor. There's one more factor that most coverage missed, and it matters enormously if you live in the United States. In April 2025, the US government introduced import tariffs on coffee for the first time in modern history. Here's the crucial fact. America imports more than 99% of its coffee. It grows almost none, which means a tariff on coffee is not protecting American farmers. There are no American coffee farmers to protect. It is simply a direct tax on businesses and consumers. By August 2025, Brazilian coffee, which makes up about 31% of what the US imports, faced a 50% tariff. Imports from Brazil fell 75% in a single month. Vietnam's coffee faced a 20% tariff. Indonesia, 19%. Only Mexico, under a pre-existing trade deal, was exempt. Roasters scrambled to change where they sourced their beans. Overnight, one estimate put the tariff's contribution to retail prices at around 63 cents per pound, on top of everything else that was already pushing prices up. In the US, a bipartisan bill called the No Coffee Tax Act was introduced in Congress to exempt coffee from tariffs entirely. As of early 2026, it had not passed. What this means for you, even if the weather improves and supply recovers, prices may not fall because the tariff is still there. Who pays and who profits? So, prices hit 47-year highs. The question everyone should be asking, who actually pays and who profits? The answer is not what you'd expect. The consumer. That's you. Yes, you pay more. Ground coffee at U.S. grocery stores was up 41% year-over-year by September 2025, and tariffs are adding further pressure, estimated at around 63 cents per pound on top of that.
Your order at a chain cafe has crept up too, though large chains are slower to raise prices. They buy coffee months in advance using futures contracts, locking in lower prices. The small cafe near your office? Far less protected. The small cafe owner, squeezed from both sides. The independent cafe, wherever it is in the world, is in serious trouble. They don't have the scale to hedge. They buy coffee week to week at whatever the market says. Their margins were already thin, roughly 2 to 6% in the cafe industry. A 40% spike in coffee costs, plus tariffs, is for many of them existential. Some have added a 50-cent to $1 surcharge per drink just to survive. Raise prices, customers leave. Absorb the loss, the business bleeds. Close, the neighborhood loses something it won't get back. Many small cafe owners are doing all three in sequence. The farmer, the painful irony. You would expect the farmers growing coffee at a 47-year price high to be celebrating. The reality is far more complicated and, frankly, unfair. Many smallholder farmers sold forward contracts months ago when prices were lower to guarantee income. They locked in a price of around $2.50 a pound, then watched the market climb to $4.41. The traders who bought those contracts captured most of the upside. The farmers watched from the sidelines. And even the farmers who didn't sell forward, their input costs surged too. Fertilizer, labor, transport, all more expensive. U.S. tariffs are now reducing demand from American buyers, making it even harder to sell. Their net improvement is much smaller than the headlines suggest. The cycle nobody talks about. Here is the part that should make you think. When prices were very low between 2018 and 2020, many farmers couldn't afford to invest in their trees, couldn't afford fertilizer, couldn't hire adequate labor. Those years of underinvestment led directly to the poor harvests of 2023 and 2024, which caused today's price spike. The system produced the very shortage it is now profiting from. The clearest winners of all of this: commodity traders, financial investors, large roasters who hedged well. None of them grow a single bean. Will prices come down? Some analysts think so. If Brazil and Vietnam harvests recover, futures prices could ease. But here is why many experts are less optimistic. Climate change is permanently reshaping where coffee can grow. Arabica plants have already migrated roughly 100 meters up mountain slopes in the past 15 years. The viable growing areas are shrinking, and global demand is not slowing. China alone now has more coffee shops than the entire United States, and it is still growing. Supply under pressure, demand growing, a pricing system that amplifies volatility, and now a tariff layer that may not go away. Most industry insiders are arriving at the same conclusion. This is the new normal. The businesses and consumers who understand why will adapt. The ones who don't, won't. The next time you pay $9 for a latte or $10 for a bag of beans at the supermarket, you're not just experiencing inflation. You're at the end of a chain that stretches across continents, through drought-stricken farms in Brazil, futures trading floors in New York, container ships rerouting around the Red Sea, through import tariff policies that add cost without adding value. A smallholder farmer, probably earning less than $3.20 a day, grew what's in that cup. A hedge fund trader at a screen helped set the price. A tariff policy added to it. And the small cafe owner down the street is figuring out how to survive the squeeze.
And as of April 2026, a new shipping disruption in the Strait of Hormuz is pushing freight costs higher again. The system is still fragile. The story is not over.
This is what a global supply chain looks like from the inside. Not simple, not always fair, but fascinating. That is what the Cost Report is about. Every video, we take one thing you buy, use, or pay for, and we show you the full story behind the price. If you want to go deeper, we've put together a free research brief for this episode. The link is below. No catch, just the data. And if this was worth your time, subscribe, because next time we're doing it again. See you then.